You have the control on your time. So you decide what's best for you. And so I really control my time when it comes to, doing my creative side, the creative things by really putting like blocking the time. I really have to block the time and I have to have things spread out rather than doing like 5 things in one afternoon. I spread it out throughout the whole week. So I know that I'm not overdoing. I know that I'm doing a little bit. I'm doing maybe an hour and then I have the rest of the afternoon to do other things, for instance.
Time blocking is probably one of the most important tools. I do that as well. But one of my struggles is that I will block the time, but then I will feel like doing something else. Maybe I'm very much like to follow my intuition. Like, I just feel like I should work on this today instead of this. Do you struggle with that at all? Or do you really follow if you say I'm going to work on X that you actually work on X?
So typically I do, but I also give myself room to be flexible. Like let's say today's plan was to write an article that it's due, let's say next week. If I don't have time today, I will do it tomorrow, but I make sure that I do it tomorrow. So I give myself like room to like be flexible and manage my time. Uh, Typically, I'm quite accountable when it comes to that. Like I do have to have a deadline to make sure that I'm working on it. And I go by what's important and what's the priority. Because I read a book, I forgot now the name of it. It was one of those like books where they talk about all the skills that you should have in order to be successful. And they were saying how to manage your time. And they were saying like you should always do like what's the priority first. So I always like keep that in mind. Like I look at the deadline, I see what's due soon, then I work on it. So if something is due, let's say in a month, like I'm not gonna start working it right now.
Yeah, that's really important. I have had to force myself to get in the habit of doing that where I am like, what is the actual priority? And everything else has to wait. It has to come later. And I find myself wanting to do things that I don't actually need to do. And it's hard for me to let them go, and so I would sometimes stay up late or work on the weekends, and then I've gotten to the point where I said, I don't need to do that. The things that are a priority have to get done. Everything else, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like with my blog, if I don't publish an edition, it doesn't really matter. It gets out when it gets out, and I was stressing myself out to try to keep it on a certain schedule, and now I'm like, I don't need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's so interesting? Like, I feel like people like me and you always are hoping we can get an extra hour during the day. Like, I feel like 24 hours sometimes are not enough. And like, I go to sleep and I'm like, oh, but I want to do more things. But then I'm like, no, but my sleep is important. I have to make sure that I'm going to sleep. So I just shut off. Like, I just go and sleep, for instance. Like I make sure that even the other aspect of my life are also important, getting a good night's sleep, working out, eating well. Like I'm not depriving myself of anything and I'm not, ruining other aspects of my life because you need the balance of everything.
You do need a balance of everything. And I definitely am much better about sleep, especially saying I know how much sleep I need to function well. And it's non negotiable for me, no matter what. If
Same.
something is not done, it is just not done because I will not sacrifice sleep for anything. I don't do it
Same.
anymore. I
Same.
used to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's not good, honestly. I think it's not good, like sacrificing your sleep for other things, because if you want to function well and if you want to do things well, you have to make sure that you're getting enough rest.
Right. And it's so funny. I don't know about you and what you rest was like for you growing up, but I struggled with rest and being still because I always felt like I had to be productive and I had to be doing something. And as an adult, it's been something I've had to learn to slow down, to take breaks, to not feel guilty about taking breaks. And importantly, to make that connection that this actually helps me to be a better person, a better employee, a better friend, a better partner if I am rested and if I'm taking care of myself.
You know what? I had a similar experience when I was studying and working at the same time. So I pursued few designations in finance and I completed some of them while I was studying full time. Sorry, when I was working full time. So you're working full time and studying for all these designations and which take a lot of your hours. And remember a few times where I would go to work, come back home, and I would sit down and study, and I would just constantly study. But some days I was like falling asleep. And I used to tell myself, no, I have to like go through this. I have to make sure that I study for this and I finish the chapter. But then I learned to listen to my body. Like if I'm feeling sleepy and I'm trying to study, it's not gonna go anywhere. It's wasted time as I'm not getting quality work done. And that's when I started to realize that, it's important that I also like take a break. It's important that I go for a walk, maybe eat, maybe go to sleep, and then I can go back at it. So one of the things I would do, for instance, is that as soon as I was like falling asleep or my body was tired, I would just close everything, go to sleep, and I would wake up early, well rested to start back again. So I learned to listen to my body.